Hello, everyone. I, for some reason, always seem to be opening a juice or some sort of beverage when I start my calls. So this is interesting. Now I just realized as I was opening it again. Welcome. So happy to have you here. And especially because I feel that this call is something that I haven't done before. And I do have the tendency to make sure that the things that I'm bringing to you are very new and very fresh. And this one came to me very much from higher guidance. So it wasn't just from like my head or anything like that. I really felt I was sort of like waiting to see what would come through. And then finally, when it came through, I was like, oh my God, that is just so perfect. So I wanted to tell you that because it's important that you see that this is not just, me, making it, very heady. I want you to understand that this is coming from somewhere else. And if you're here, it's because you really need to hear it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to check in with everybody that is here. There's quite a few that are just joining now. So let me just check real quick. And if you guys can just say hi on the comments box below this video so that I can see that you're here, that would be great, because that is very helpful for me. Hi, Ashara, how are you? So happy to see you here. Awesome. And who else? I know that there's a lot more than you on the line. Don't be shy. It's okay that you're here. That's the whole point, right? So say hi, and then I can, say hi to you, and that would be awesome to talk to you for a second there. Okay, so we have 3 more. We have Trish, we have Courtney, hi, and we have Solara, hi. Okay, great. So this is great. I'm sure more of you will keep saying hi as they keep going through this. So let me go back to like the main screen. Awesome. There's quite a few more of you on the line, so definitely would love to hear from you guys. Okay, so like I was saying, this one came channeled, and the idea was really to help you tune into something. So there's like one thing that will help you get more out of what you're already doing in your business than any other strategy that you're trying right now. And the reason why you're not able to tune into this is because it's hiding from your view right now. So I want to give you a few things throughout the call today so that you can actually start understanding what's happening, so that you can see and be a little bit more gentle with yourself. Because, again, this is not about, trying to do more launches or webinars or whatever the deal is. Like sometimes there's something that just feels that it's heavier, lying there almost like in front of your face, but totally hidden from you, and you can't see it. So like I was saying before, you're here for a reason, okay? You want to know how to get more full paid clients. You want to know how to make 10K cash, hopefully May, right? Like we're at the end of the month, so it's not going to be for this month, but it's going to be for the next one. And you don't know how to do it yet. And I'm hoping that's correct, right? Otherwise, then I would really question why you're here. So what I ask of you, okay, what I'm asking of you is that you don't tune out. And there may be some times during the call that I'm actually going to call you out on it and be like, are you tuning out right now? Because there are very few things that can get really uncomfortable. So that's the time when you actually start tuning out, when things just feel really hard for you to take a cold hard look at, like right then and there. That's when you start, sort of disconnecting from it, okay? Everything that I'm saying to you, every single word has been channeled for you, okay? I'm not super woo or anything, but this does not come from me. Like, I have like no claim over it. Like, it's really something that I waited until the very last minute, and it came through because it was something that you needed to hear today. Okay, it came specifically for you, so you need to hear this. So it's important that you allow yourself to hear it, because if you're tuning out or doing things like playing with your phone or reading stuff on Facebook, then you're not going to hear it, okay? And this is not going to work for you. And right now you're very frustrated, okay? You're trying all those different things that I mentioned in the title of this call, right? The list building, the this and the that and whatever, and nothing is working. So you came here because you're frustrated, okay? That something is happening and you don't know what it is. So the whole point is that you're supposed to get this information, but it's not going to work if you're tuning it out, okay? And you're obviously here because you want to find out that one thing that I mentioned, that I've been mentioning in all the marketing that I've been doing for this, right? There's one thing that has been blocking you from receiving that higher income, okay? The full pay clients and all that good stuff. And it's actually easier. Like, the one thing that I want to tell you is that it's a lot easier, a hell of a lot easier actually, to be making over 10K than it is to make 3 to 5K. Okay, it really, really, really is. Because of that one thing, you're not able to see how. Okay, and that's why you're doing all this other stuff. And I'm going to tell you exactly all about it. Okay, and the other thing that I wanted to tell you is that you definitely want to stay until the end, because I'm going to turn up the recording. So for the people that are going to be watching this video later, they're not going to be getting the secret phrase that I tell myself to shift my focus and vibration, so that I can start receiving clients and cash like almost immediately. And it's something that I've been using, I think it's been about a year, that really, really fine tunes my frequency so that it's a lot higher. And I don't want to get too woo here. So if you're not into vibration and all this other stuff, it has nothing, like, you can look at it from another angle. It really shifts my perspective so that I'm actually able to see the opportunities that are sitting around me, and so that I can actually start taking action, okay? Because there, you know, when you're in a space of like, well, I don't know, and, you know, is this gonna work? Is this not gonna work, right? You're in the frequency of doubt, and that's a really low frequency, right? But that doubt is really corrupting like everything that you see as an opportunity, because if you're looking at something that's square in the face actually looks like an opportunity, but you're doubting that it is, then you're not going to take any action on it. So that's what I mean. Like, this really snaps me out of it so that I can actually take advantage of the opportunities that are sitting around me. Okay? So like I said, this helps you when you're feeling in doubt, when you're not hearing yourself clearly, or the things that are opportunities clearly. And it also creates a space for you to be able to hear the truth again. And it's very important that you hear the truth, because otherwise you're living in the lie. And the lie is what you're living in right now. And I'm going to talk more about that. Okay? And that secret phrase and all of that, I'm not going to share that in the replay at all. So if you're here, then you're going to get it. Yay! Okay, so I just want to take a second to just say thank you for being here, okay? It's really awesome that you actually spent the time to come here to really listen to this and to get something that you feel is missing, okay, for you right now in your business, okay? This is all about the person that you're going to become in the process, and most definitely about the person that you need to be now before you start receiving that next level. Okay, so this is all I'm going to be talking about today. Okay, there's no magic involved. It's just straight up understanding of what's happening, and it's all based on what the truth is. And I feel that we know what's the truth and we know what's not the truth. We are very clear in understanding when something is real and when something isn't. So stay tuned, because there's going to be some level of truth that I hope that you'll be able to receive in the way that you need to in order to make the most of it. Okay. So again, thank you for being here. This is really awesome that you made the time, because that's going to really help you step into that next level. Okay. So now, if you're here, these are some of the symptoms that you're experiencing right now. And I just want to go through them real quickly, because I want to help you identify yourself as one of these, having some of these experiences, because that lets you really know that you're in the right place and that you're going to be able to make the most out of this. Okay. You're really tired of going around from strategy to strategy, like a bee from flower to flower, trying to find the honey, and you're still coming up empty. Okay, no honey for you. You're attracting the wrong people who sneak into your discovery sessions to get free advice, who seem really good on paper, but don't really want to do the amount of work that they need to do in order to get the results that they say that they want, right? And who always seem to have the money for someone else's program, just not yours, right? So that's some of the stuff that you may be experiencing. You're also probably stuck in an income cage that seems to get smaller by the second, one of those shrinking cages, I guess, and is suffocating you. Okay, no matter what you do, you're still making the same amount, 3 to 5K, paying the bills, right? More, just enough to pay the bills. And it's becoming more and more challenging for you to actually excuse how this is happening for yourself. So you know that you should be making more, and yet you're still making the same. And the excuse of why this is happening, it's really starting to get old for you. Okay. It seems almost as if you're giving away your last pint of blood, working so hard and making what feels like nothing in return for all the work that you're doing, and the work and the real essence of what you're doing with your clients. And that always leaves you in the space of self-punishment, because you know that you're doing so much and then nothing is working. So then you keep punishing yourself, and it just leaves in the same more and more pain, more pain, more pain. And then it's really not doing anything good for you. Okay. And you've heard from me, or maybe someone else, that it's a lot easier to make 10K than it is to make 3 to 5K, but you still have no idea how that would even look like, because the whole experience that you've been having, obviously it's not the best. So it's really been the opposite of what that is saying. How can it be easier when this is so hard, right? Makes no sense, but there's something in you that feels like, I want to believe it. I want to believe that that's possible. And you are very likely very skimmish about your numbers, about the numbers in general, right? And always feeling like that desire to have more, and the desire to not make it all about the money, right? Those two things I keep fighting, okay? And it's like an inside battle that nobody wins. Okay, definitely not you, and definitely not your clients, okay? Remember that you can only be as good as the people that you work with. And that's something that maybe you haven't heard before, but I invite you to reflect on that so that you can see how it is the truth. Okay, so welcome for being here. I am doing this masterclass because I want to help you get to the bottom of what that core problem is, right? So that you can start doing whatever it is that you want in your business. So for you, it may be that 10K cash or the full pay clients, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's all coming from the same core problem. And that's what I want to discuss. Another thing that I want to tell you before we really go into the deep, juicy stuff is that results really don't lie. And there's something, I like talking about this at the very beginning of all of my master classes, because I feel that there's something really going on. But let me really explain to you what I see happening. So the easiest way to see what's happening in your business is to look at your numbers. Now, I know that probably as I start talking about that, you're already tuning out, okay? This may be one of those moments when you start checking out. And if you are, you really need to ask yourself why you're doing it right now. When we're talking about something that is really the essence of any business, and definitely the essence of yours, even if you don't feel like it should be, or you don't want it to be, or whatever the deal is, whatever story is that's going on inside of your head, it doesn't matter, because if you're in business for yourself and you're selling something, then the numbers are really, really freaking important. So just pay attention here. This may be part of, there may be a part of you that finds this really, really uncomfortable, and your head is telling you that it's not about the money, and your heart is telling you just want to, you know, provide a really great service, and nothing escapes the truth. And here it is, okay? Because if you face this thing, everything can change, okay? And I'm going to tell you something. I don't think I've talked about this. I may have talked about this in a post, but not really in a masterclass before. So if you've been coming to my masterclasses, I know that you haven't heard this. Okay? Your purpose is connected with abundance. Okay? You did not come here to this world to struggle. Okay? You came to this world to experience a really abundant experience. Okay? And to live on purpose. Those two things are connected. They're not separated. And I feel like most people are like, well, I want to live my purpose, and, you know, and it doesn't matter if I make any money. No, your purpose is actually connected to you living the best life that you can live. And unfortunately, money is the thing that actually helps you do that anywhere in the world. Most places in the world, unless you're living somewhere in a jungle and it's all based on, you know, you farming or something like that. Like if you're living in you're watching this through a computer somewhere. So I'm guessing that that's not you, right? So that means that money really touches everything. It touches food. It touches housing. It touches clothing, right? Basic necessities. It touches vacations, even touches like your relationships. Like, just take a look at how many people get divorced because of, you know, money, okay, money issues and all of that stuff. It touches every area of your life, okay? And if you're here to live on purpose, and your purpose is to be abundant, then your purpose is to really make an awesome living doing what you're here to do. Okay? So running away from the numbers is not, it's like running away from your purpose. Okay? So really, really think about this, because if you're one of those people that has that story, you need to really think about why, and then start really connecting the things that matter the most to you, because I'm guessing that you're purpose driven. You want to help, right? You want to create a business that services other people. So you really, really need to think that that is your path to you actually creating an awesome, awesome life and abundance. So let me just take a quick break because I need a sip of water. Well, actually juice, and just see who else. Say hi. I see Laura's here, Justina, and Tony. Awesome. Okay, if more of you want to say hi, now it's the time. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, cool. So I want to tell you just a tiny little bit. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I want to tell you just a little bit about me and how I became an expert in this. Okay, I was, now that I think about it, okay, I was going to just crack up, but I'm not going to do that. So I was really the least likely, I feel, to be making 10K. That's what I felt. That's really how I felt. And that was only like a year ago that I felt that way. Okay, I spent 2 whole years scraping the barrel. I was making just enough. And most of the time I was actually working a part-time job because I couldn't make enough money for my business. And on top of that, on top of the part-time job that, you know, I don't know how many hours I spent doing that, but I was also working 80-hour weeks in my business, okay? I was doing so much, and towards the end of the second year, I was making around $2,000 a month or something like that. Okay, it varied. Sometimes it was like 1,000, sometimes it was, you know, like 2,500, but never really like, you know, 5,000 or anything. Like I didn't jump beyond like 2,500. I think I never ever made it over 3K or even close to 3K. Some of you may be in that bracket. Okay, but something started to shift so quickly that in just 1 year, and I want to really stress this because for me, I was like seeing myself in that situation of being like, I'm not even making $2,000 and I want to make this much, but I couldn't even see it. Like the picture was just completely removed, right? And when it started changing, it went like that, like so fast that I went from charging $400 to charging over $25,000 per package, okay? I moved to a much bigger house. I bought my first new car, which was insane for me because the last car that I'd ever had was at least 20 years old. At least. I don't even know. I think it was like from 1991 or something. And it was like a premium car back then, but it was not anywhere near by the time that I got it, right? And I had sold that one like, you know, 3 years ago or something. Okay. I feel like the biggest difference, like out of all of those things, so huge change in my lifestyle, huge change in my income, huge change in all of these things, right? But the biggest difference that I saw was in myself, okay, in how I see the world now, and how I know that without a doubt, I mean, this year I'll go past 250K, and actually it will be more near the 500K mark if I keep on track the way that I am right now. Okay, but I want to tell you something that made the difference for me, and there were actually two things, okay? And one I'll talk about today, so you know that's why you're here. You're here to find the one thing, right? That's causing all this chaos, right? And I really want you to understand it because it's pretty much the key to everything else. The second was that I started saying yes. Like I was saying no for such a long time, right? I started feeling into my desires, and I started looking for things and people that will help me. So it went fast, like so fast. It sometimes blows my mind, like to even think about it, okay? I was at an intensive, so like 2 weeks ago, like tomorrow it will be like 2 weeks. I was at an intensive with one of my mentors, and an intensive that was more expensive than anything that I'd ever paid for, including my car, okay, in a program, like in a program, a car, anything really. This is as much money as I'd ever spent in anything. And it was just for 4 hours. And he told me, like he asked me a question, like, do you realize that most people don't ever get to experience this level of growth? And sitting there, like looking at him, I was kind of like, yeah, I get it. But like, I wasn't really thinking in those terms, you know? And it really helped me to stop, like take a second and really think about it, because sometimes I tend to forget those things. I think most of us do. We tend to forget the things that we need to celebrate. We tend to forget the things that we have accomplished so far, right? But you want to know why I stayed, like if I really think about the difference between that person that I was for 2 whole years and the person that I've become over the last year and a half, is the fact that, you know, back then I was saying no. I was saying no to everything. I was saying no with all sorts of excuses that came up, right? And I was really being the problem in that situation because I wasn't able to see past anything that would allow me to reach further and reach higher and go further, and to make that income that I wanted to make. And I kept saying no. So the doors kept closing in on me. The windows and the cupboards and everything kept sliding shut. Whereas when I started saying yes, like if you really think about those two words, no is like, ugh, like contracting. It shuts it up. And then the yes like starts feeling expansive. And that's what started happening. So the deal today is that I want to give you the awareness so that you can understand why you're still stuck. Okay, after doing so much and learning so much and blah blah blah, you know, we have about 30 minutes left, right? So I'll make sure that I give you as much as I can so that you can really walk away with something really solid, so that you can actually start taking action right away and start looking at it. Okay, and at the end, I'll also share with you how you can get more information, okay? Because it's really important that you really, really go all the way with this, okay? Deal? Okay, awesome. I know that I can see you, but I can feel you, okay? So today, okay, we're going to be talking about the foundation. Okay, the foundation as well as, no, I'm sorry, I'm like going over my outline, and that's not what I wanted to say, okay? So let's just get started and going into the first step here, which is exactly why working on your latest marketing strategy will work as well as using a baby wipe to get rid of a computer virus, right? It's superficial and won't go deep into the problem. Okay, so this one is actually one that I was asking myself, do I want to go into this right now? But I kept getting a yes and a yes and a yes. So I'm saying, yes, I need to tell you this. And that's the whole point. This all came through for you. So I am going to say something with all the gentleness that I can, and knowing that some of you will probably want to fight this, okay? This may be one of those moments when you want to tune me out, okay? Or you'll want to make me wrong, okay? And this is the moment when you actually need to be paying more attention than any other moment today, okay? I was about to sneeze, so I needed to touch my nose. The problem that you have with your marketing are not coming from your marketing, okay? They're not even coming from your business, okay? Though, you know, if you start scratching that surface, like you can work around that and start getting some results, okay? But the problems, the core problems that you have are actually coming from you, okay? You are the cause of every experience that you have in your life, okay? Your business results, your marketing strategy, and anything else is what actually is happening on the outside. So that's the effect. Okay, when you're being a certain way, thinking a certain way, that causes some results, like the results that I used to have, right? I told you about my first 2 years in business, kind of rough, right? That's how I stood stuck in the same place for 2 years, okay? When you say yes to something that takes you out of that comfortable cycle, right? So even if you're suffering, and hear me on this, because you may also want to tune this out. Even if you're suffering, it's still more comfortable for you to stay in that place because you're used to it. You're used to the pain, so it's easier, okay? It's easier for you to say no and stay in the same place and stay in the same comfortable cycle and used to the pain than it is for you to say yes to something that actually takes you out of that comfort. Because when you say yes to something that starts creating that expansion, then you can actually move away from that thing, that energy, right? And you can start becoming someone else. And that has to lead to a different experience. It did for me. I'll tell you that. And that's like for most of my clients as well. It has to lead to a different experience. And that's why looking at the numbers is so helpful. And again, I'm talking about the numbers again. Like start connecting numbers with your purpose. Numbers, purpose, numbers, purpose, so that you can remove that, you know, icky feeling that may bring up for you, okay? But it is helpful because it really tells me where you're at without me having to even talk to you. When I chose to do this webinar or masterclass, I decided to put it in the 3 to 5 range, right? People that are making 3 to 5K. I know what's happening in your business right now. I don't even need to talk to you. Okay, I already know the type of problems that you're having, how hard you're working, and that you've tried so many things and nothing seems to work. It's clear because of where you are. And it's also clear to me that it takes what it takes for you to get out of there, and how fast that it can happen, because I did it. It's the same thing, and my clients are doing it as well and have done it as well. So the real problem is coming from you. Understand that, because really having that understanding can create, like, even though it's uncomfortable to look at it, it can really give you an opening so that you can start seeing what needs to happen next, okay? The way that you're being is attracting the type of results that you have right now, okay? You need to start being a different way. Part of that is like the opening energy rather than the contracting energy of yes and no, right? One of my clients, I just want to tell you a little bit so that you can see how this applies to someone else other than me. So one of my clients was not seeing that the way that she was being and the person that she was being, right, was the person that just sold the $150 sessions, right? One session here, one session there. And honestly, like when she was doing those, like it was just exhausting her, okay? She could not make any traction in her business at all. And her whole messaging, like the way that she was actually looking at what she delivered, was completely non-existent. Like she didn't have a plan at all, okay? The moment that we started working together, the moment was the moment that she actually stepped into being that person that started selling the 5K programs, right? When she said yes, like the energy of yes started working immediately. And that was the moment that she saw herself as more, okay? Then she went and got that 5K client within a few weeks. And today, actually, I got a message earlier from a client saying that I've sold my first 5K package, you know? She had never charged that much in her whole life. And think about it. It's not even about like, oh yeah, you know, raising your fees, whatever. Like this has everything to do with not just one time. Like just think about the result. Like just think about what that can do for you long term. So don't think about like 5K. Oh yeah, I'm gonna sell one 5K or 2 5K or whatever. No, like once you know how to do that, then you can just go and continue being that person and then expanding and then maybe even raising your prices beyond that. Okay. So number 2 here, how you're rejecting this one thing is making you unconsciously say no to all of the potential clients that are ready to say yes to you and pay in full right now. Your 3 favorite words, right? Pay in full is always wonderful to hear. So I think like I unconsciously chose those words for that idea, because when you're in the energy of no, then everything seems to sort of like close, and then it's very hard for you to get clients that are actually going to say yes to you when you yourself are not expanding into more. But that's not the point that I want to make in this one, okay? So I want to take what we were talking about, you know, a step further, because it goes beyond you knowing that you're the cause. Okay, that's great, yay! But how do you start being a different cause? Okay, how do you start creating different results? And how can you change those results? Okay, if you're still you, if you're still being the same way, like you don't know how to sort of like change the whole thing, okay? Well, the first thing is that you need to do is change just how you're dealing with some of the results that you have been getting, okay? So to take it back a second, you're the cause, and very gently, of course. And then that means that for you to actually change the cause, you have to start looking at the results that you're getting, so the numbers and the other stuff, but looking at them in a different way. You have to change the way that you're dealing with those results, okay? My question is, are you facing them head on or are you running away? Two completely different things. Are you really facing it, facing the reality of the results that you're getting, or are you running away? And let me give you some examples of what running away looks like, because you may not be aware even that you're doing it right now, okay? You don't want to look at the numbers, okay? You don't raise your prices even though you know your packages are worth so much more than what it is that you've been charging, and you give even better results or even more than some of the other people that are doing something similar to you, okay? You avoid, like the plague, getting help that you need because it's too expensive, okay? And let me stop here for a second, because I really want to clarify this once and for all, because I feel like I hear this from all my clients, like when they come to me all the time, like, oh my God, like this person saying like it's too expensive, and like, you know, this is the thing that I'm dealing with. Like I keep getting clients saying that it's too expensive or whatever. And so it goes both ways. Like if you're doing it and if someone else is doing it to you, because it's all connected. It's all the same thing, like the experience. It's sort of like the mirror showing you the experience that you're having again and again and again, right? Like if you have a double mirror, it's like it all expands into infinity, okay? Too expensive, and I just want to clarify this. Too expensive is what you're doing right now. Just think about it, okay? Too expensive is wasting years and years and years, like I did, struggling, okay? Living in a reality that is not yours. Your reality should be abundance, not lack. Doesn't make any sense, okay? Not serving as many people as you could be serving, or being the difference that you said that you wanted to be when you started your business. That is too expensive, okay? I don't ever, like seriously, and I'm being really, really serious here, I don't ever want a single one of you to ever say that again, okay? It's costing you so much saying those things. You saying those things is what's really costing you. And I'm going to tell you a personal example. I never had the money to invest at the beginning, ever, up until like very recently. And even that, like I've never had the full pay to invest in anything, because I'm always like moving and doing things and whatever the deal is. I just have never had the cash, like complete there, like, yay, I'm gonna go. I created. I've always created it, even when I didn't have any, okay? But most people are just too stuck in their own reality to see what they can actually create. They can create whatever they want. They can create whenever they want. And this is why you're still in that cycle. You're in the cycle of no. You need to get into the cycle of yes. When you start saying yes, even though you don't have a clue how it's going to happen, it's going to start happening. It has to. You allow yourself to settle for mediocrity instead of doing what you really want, okay? This is some of the other things that are part of the signs that this is happening to you. You turn away saying what you need because of how it's going to be perceived on the other side, those kind of things. Do any of those sound familiar to you? That's how you're running away. Those are the things that are happening when you're running away. Those are examples, okay? So you have to look at and deal with the results head on. You have to deal with them head on. And you have to deal with them, like I said, from you. You're the cause. The results are the effect, but you have to like really look at those, okay? No more hiding. No more hiding. And be sure that if you're hiding from it here, like in this particular area, you know that a lot of other areas in your life, you're actually hiding things too. Like in your love life, perhaps, your partnership, with your kids, who knows? Facing the truth is important. It's actually like it's indispensable. Like you can't not face the truth, okay? So the last one here, what is really causing your lack of discovery sessions and sales, missing your 10K cash every single month? So what is causing it? It's that you're not associating the courage to look at your own problems, to face yourself, to ask for what you need, to receive what you want, to make your life non-negotiable with the success that you have. Okay, you're thinking that dealing with this or that this or that problem is not really related. And that so long as you work hard, it's going to work, but it's not working, obviously. Otherwise, you would not be listening to me right now, right? This is you trying to mask what's going on underneath. The hard work is really hiding the pain that you're feeling about something. I don't know what that is. Unless I talk to you, I wouldn't be able to tell you what it is. But know this. This is why it's so much easier for you to make 10K than it is to make 3K. Okay, because the pain that you're hiding and the fact that you're doing anything not to face it right now is taking so much energy. That's why you have to justify doing things so hard. It's exhausting. It's really exhausting. I remember. I remember how it was. Okay, and now I can kind of laugh about it, but going through it wasn't fun. Okay, once you're able to heal that side of yourself, like those things are actually happening, that thing, and really getting to the truth, because honestly, most of the time, if people try to do self-surgery, they end up with the wrong thing, right? So you can't see it. That's why you're stuck. If you could, then you would have fixed it already, right? Even with this information, it's really difficult. I haven't seen that many people are able to do that, okay? I want to back up for a second just to make sure that you guys understand what I'm saying. The reason that you're working so hard and that it's difficult for you to actually go to that 10K and beyond is because you're working so hard to hide what's actually happening, to not face it. So you're like busy, doing whatever you need to do and like trying this and trying that and trying that and trying the other thing. And then you're not really facing the thing that you really need to face that will allow you to go to that next level. Okay? This is also why getting those full pay clients is easier. Why the abundance of sales conversations is easier. Okay? The struggle that you're going through right now is all happening within yourself. It's not happening on the outside. The clients are there. The money's there. Whatever you want is already there. So it's not going to be fixed with another strategy. Can a strategy help? Yeah. I do strategy all the time with my clients. It does help. But it's not the thing that's going to make it run smooth, and it's not the thing that's actually going to create that big leap fast. It won't. It can't. Because it's hiding. And it's not like working on the strategy is working on the surface. The same thing as like what I said, using a baby wipe trying to get rid of the computer virus. It does not work. It doesn't work. Okay? What you're doing with you not facing the problems is that you're making it much harder. Okay? You're not facing yourself, and that is really what is going on underneath all of these results. Okay? I want to make sure that you guys understand. So, once we go to the Q&A, I want to make sure that you guys have like questions about this, because it's so important that you get it. This is the one thing that I was talking about in the title, okay? You're not facing yourself. You're not really seeing what is going on underneath all of those problems that are on the surface. And you can't see it because they're your own problems. You created them. You're going to do anything to hide them from yourself, right? Okay? But once you actually start facing them, it'll be easier, and the journey to go past 10K will be faster. It has been for me and for my clients as well. Okay? And let me give you another example from one of my clients. So like one of my clients could not face something. The thing that she could not face wasn't really having to do with, the money or anything like that. It was more around the fact that she wanted to be able to, no, that wasn't even it. Like what she was doing was that she wasn't really understanding that she needed to bring all of her gifts into her business. Because for her, well, I'm a marketing person. Like I'm selling marketing. Like how am I going to bring healing in with the coaching that I'm doing and all these other things? She was hiding from it. So in a year, up until the point that we were working together, she was making $1,200. Like the whole year, not like every month she was making $1,200. The whole year she had made $1,200. And then in 3 months, she made over $40K. Because she was able to face this part of herself, the thing that she was hiding from. Sometimes it's a gift. Sometimes it's something else. I don't know unless I talk to you, right? So how, like if you really think about it, like another thing that she did was she had like one awesome 12K launch, and that was just like the beginning of everything that she's doing right now. She's doing awesome. Okay, how much would that be worth to you? Okay, not only to do it once. Like I feel that most people, when they think about, hey, yeah, I want to work with this person or whatever the deal is, they always think in terms of like, I'm going to be spending this money and I'm not going to see it again. But think in terms of like the lifetime value that something that transforms you at that core level can actually do for you. Because it's not just being able to do it once, it's how many times can you do it? Can you continuously do it? Can you repeat it again? Say that you started selling 5K packages. Like even one a month, would that be worth it to you? What about 2 for the rest of your career? Not just now. Would that create a difference to you? Okay. So the things that I hear all the time that are stopping people is that, no, but this, but that. Listen, this is simple. What do you want? What do you want? Because everything is hiding in your desire. Everything is hiding in this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here listening to me right now. What do you want? Do you want to keep going as you're going right now? Do you want to keep making a heart? Do you want to keep hiding from the things that are actually causing so much grief for you? And not only in this area, it's probably the same thing that's showing up in other areas as well. Understand, like when you're having these types of problems, it's not just in one area, it's in every area of your life. It's coming in, it's sabotaging you massively. So here's what I have for you. Okay, I have made a few openings. I have created some openings in my schedule for the next, I think tomorrow and then Monday and Tuesday. I have some openings in my schedule for you so that you can find what that thing is. What is that thing? What is the thing that's causing so much grief for you? What's the thing that you're hiding from yourself, right? How can you use that to propel you And can you say yes to something greater? Even if it feels uncomfortable, even if you have no fucking idea how it's going to happen. I didn't. Are you? So, enough with the heavy, like in Twilight, Bella's mom says, right? So, I am going to do something for you. I am going to tell you exactly how you can actually get one of those spots with me. Okay? Oh, I see Alicia as well. Say hi. And then I see Courtney as well. I think that's it. Okay, cool. So I think there's about, how many spots did I put? Hold on, let me just take a quick look so that I can see how many spots. I have about 7 spots available on tomorrow, and then Monday and Tuesday. Okay, and they have your name on it. So what you need to do is actually fill out an application to see if you're really ready for this, because most people are not really ready. Are you one of the people that are? Right? And I know that if you're here, there's a part of you that is. So are you going to take it to the next step? Okay. And I am going to share with you the pop-up box for the application should be showing up underneath this video any moment. So refresh it a few times and it should be there. Otherwise, you're going to get an email from me by the end of today so that you can actually go on there and fill out the application. But if you're really in a hurry, then you can go to sazzuhope.com/10K breakthrough. And you'll get the application straight away. You don't have to wait for the box and you don't have to wait for the email. You can just go there and do it now. Okay? So enough with that. I'm going to start going into questions. And then after that, I'm going to go into the phrase that I told you I was going to share with you at the end so that you can see how you can like immediately switch your energy so that you can go into stepping into that bigger goal that you have right now. So I know that this is really stuff that you may not have heard before, or maybe you have, but you haven't really implemented it yet. I want to hear what your questions are because I think that's going to make a huge difference for everybody listening, not just you guys. Okay, so what are your questions? And while you're doing that, I'm going to check again and refresh and make sure to see that I see all of you. So I don't see any questions yet. Were you guys writing things down when I was going through the call? That's always important. And all of you guys are still on, so definitely let me know. Don't be shy. Okay. This is an opportunity, and I'm gonna just be blunt here. This is an opportunity to really ask anything. Like, I'm not gonna have any limits unless it's something that I really need to dig into, like, and ask a lot of questions about. I'm not going to really limit the answers that I give you. This is time with me. Ask anything that you want, but you have to use it. Like, if you're not having the result that you want, you have to have questions. Like, if you don't have questions right now, then, you know, that's a problem. That's a problem. So let me know. Let me see. If I see someone else posted. See. Ashra was saying, thank you. I've just about gotten here inside myself with this understanding. For me, one of the things I feel like I'm not looking at is at the fullness of my gift. How do you suggest we begin to run headfirst into looking at things? I don't know if I understand your question. And let me see if I can ask a clarifying question so that you can post it. I'm not looking at is what I feel I'm not looking at is the fullness of my gift. How do you suggest we begin to run headfirst into looking at things? I don't know what things you're talking about. I feel that's what's confusing me. If you're not looking at the fullness of your gift, the first thing that you need to ask yourself is why, and what do you mean by fullness? What do you expect your gift to be more than what it is right now? Another thing to think at is the fact that sometimes like we're allowed to see up to a certain extent because we need to start taking action from where we're at so that we can see the next step as we are showing through our actions that we're ready for the next step. So if you're giving enough right now to actually be taking action, but you're not taking action because you're still expecting something else to come, but it's not showing up, like, are you going to stay stuck in this place, or are you actually going to start taking action so that you're showing the universe, hey, look, I'm serious, I really need this? And I actually went through this with my desire, not with my gift, but with my desire, where I didn't have that, oh my God, head over heels, like, you know, absolute amazing desire that I needed in order for me to actually start taking action. But I was starting to be shown some of it. Like, I like this, I like this. And instead of waiting for that big desire to show up at my door, I started making, well, I made the intention that by my actions, I would show the universe that I was ready for that bigger desire to come whenever I needed to come. Perhaps I wasn't ready for that fullness of that desire to show up. So maybe it's the same thing that you're experiencing right now. And what you need to do is start taking action so that you can show the universe, hey, I'm here and I am still ready. So just come and give it to me. But you need to show it through your actions, not just by saying it. It's very, 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 very easy to say something, and it's a lot harder to take action on it. So I would say take action. That's what I would say. Okay, now I have more questions. Yay, questions! I love this. Okay. So I have, let me just finish with the other questions from the same question. Run headfirst into looking at my gifts. Fullness means soul purpose, life purpose. Got it. I'm taking action, but the action needs to be shifted to be more aligned with my gift. Yeah, the action needs to be shifted to be aligned with whatever it is that the universe is telling you that you need to do right now. It has, like, I think alignment is also something that a lot of people get screwed up. Alignment is not really a law in the universe. So people are really using that as a way to hold themselves back. You need to take action based on whatever the universe is telling you, take action on right now. Like, take action. Like, you don't have to be aligned to take action. Just take action. I don't want to say that wrong, like, so that it's not heard the right way. If you're making alignment a rule for you to take action on what the universe is telling you that you need to take action on right now, then that's how you don't need to be aligned to take action, because it's a rule that you're creating for yourself that's causing harm. It's not really being helpful to you in any way. So I hope that helps. Hi, Julie. I love your last name. It's beautiful. Kusa. Okay. So Laura, I think she's asking how we can find the thing we're not facing in ourselves. Well, okay. Most of the time you can't. And that's the whole thing. That's why people spend millions of dollars and billions of dollars in this industry to have someone else look at their stuff, because we can't really see it ourselves. And if we could, we would take action on it immediately and just go and do it. So you can't. Like, there's very few instances, like some people that go into like really, really, really crazy meditations and they actually start seeing it. But I have done, like, not crazy meditations or anything, but I have, you know, asked and asked and asked, and most of the time, like, I'm shown the next step via something. So like whether it's reading a book or, you know, signing up with a particular person or whatever the deal is, so that I can actually have them look at my problem, so that I can actually see it for myself, because a lot of the times like I can't see it. But that's also why I invited you guys for the discovery, well, not discovery session, it's a makeover. It's completely different. And some of you have experienced that with me already. So you, like, it's a completely different experience that actually gets you that, like, or at least a piece of that thing that's going to be heading you in that direction. So I hope that that answers your question. Courtney, I teach classes, groups of people right now. I also work with people in my studio individually for private lessons, Reiki. I like to take my biz online, cater to people who can't make it to studios. Any advice on the first steps to moving my biz online to work with individuals wanting to impact a much broader group of people? Thanks. Sure. So the first step that you will want to do would be to really look at what it is that you really want to do with these people, and what is it that is what are your gifts, and like how you want to serve them. When it comes to Reiki, I think Reiki you can do long distance and all this other stuff. Like you don't need to be with the person in order to have an impact with them. But I think the problem and that you're going to encounter most of all is the fact that most people, when they already hear something like Reiki, they already have a picture of how much that costs. So that is one of the main problems that you're going to encounter. You really need to see as to how you can really like package your gifts in a way that is given a very specific result to a very specific group of people, so that you can price it accordingly. Because if you're giving something like Reiki or something like that, people will not want to pay for it. You have to make sure that there's actually a result that they're looking for. And it has to be something that they're willing to spend money for, obviously. So I hope that that helps. But if you want to ask another question about it, based on what I answered to you, let me know. Okay. Justina, in the webinar you mentioned a question, how do you start being a different cost? Could you please talk a bit more about it? What should we change in practical terms? Which behaviors, attitudes? Thank you. Sure. So the behavior that I mentioned and the attitude that well, not the attitude, but the behavior that I mentioned is that you need to actually start looking at the results that you're getting right now. Most people run away from the results that they're getting. And even though they're looking at it, they're not looking at it deep enough to actually see what the results are actually showing them about what it is that they're doing to themselves, really. And that's how, like when I do this with my clients, that's how I go in and I actually start seeing what's happening underneath all of that stuff. Because the result is really the surface. Like, I mean, the result, that's why I get really, really upset when people are really dissing the whole, you know, like talking about numbers or whatever the deal is, because it's such awesome information. Like it gives you so much to go on. It already gives me a clear picture of like where someone is, like in their mindset, right? And I already know what are some of the things that they could be experiencing that's blocking them. It's not general either. It's very individualized. That's why I said that coming to one of those sessions would be really helpful, because like I could tell you some of the, I mean, I already told you during the masterclass some of the things that could be affecting you right now, right? Like you're, you know, experiencing this or experiencing that, whatever the deal is, but it's not personalized. It's not specifically towards you, right? To be able to be a different cause, you need to start looking at the results that you're having right now and actually start being a different person. Another thing that I mentioned is be a yes, not a no. Because the yes opens the door so that you can actually shift some of these things. The no immediately keeps you in the same place. So long as you keep saying no, nothing happens. When you start saying yes, things start opening up. Okay, I hope that that answers it for you. Let me see what else I have. Okay, I have one more. Guys, more questions. I have until 2:30 Eastern time. If you guys want any more, I am here. Okay. Courtney says, thank you so much. That helps. I'm looking to work. Oh, I hope that you guys can see me because I'm like looking at the, oh, okay, you can. I wasn't looking at the video, so I couldn't see. Okay, that helps. I'm looking to work with women who are in recovery from eating disorders, disordered eating, body image challenges. Thanks, Sazzu. Yeah, so that's really great. Like, definitely do that. You can start looking at like, what's the cost of that for them? Like, what's the cost in staying in those things? And sometimes you have to look at the cost that it is to their families, the cost that it is to their business, the cost that it is to their health, like the cost that it is to, you know, their children or whatever the deal is. Like, look at it, but then also understand that cost that they're experiencing. Well, the first thing that you need to understand is that the cost that they're experiencing, that's how they're going to be able to make the decision whether they want to invest with you or not. The second thing is that you can't just say all of those things that I just gave you, because all of those things are related to many very, very, very different people. So a mother's experience to someone that's single, and someone that's 30 and someone that's 20, and someone that is, you know, a business owner as compared to someone that works in corporate, different experiences. And every single one of those things really colors how you can actually reach those people. So make sure that you're actually building it up to be something that you really, that is very specific and clear. And you want to be working with one set of people, at least at the very beginning, because it's really, really difficult to sell when it's to a large, broad group of people. It just doesn't work. And that is a level of resistance that I hear most people having, because they want to help everybody. And I'm guessing that that's probably the case with you, since you're a yoga teacher and Reiki and all that stuff. Like, you're very into wanting to help the people, but you're actually not helping them if you can't even reach them. So really, really consider that that's a thing that you need to pay attention to. Okay, any other questions? I don't see anything else. Okay, if I don't get more questions, then I'll just go into the last bit. And then you know, that phrase that I told you guys that I tell myself all the time. And then if not, then that's it. Like, I won't take any questions after. So definitely take advantage of this time. Okay, there's one more here. Oh, that's Courtney saying thank you. Okay, doesn't seem like any of you want, like, I still have another probably like 10 minutes, like, before I have to go into the last bit. But if you guys don't want to ask any more questions, there's so many of you on the line, you guys, like, take advantage of this, really. I'm gonna give you another minute, and then I'll go on to the other thing. And by now, I know, like, this is probably like the hugest thing. And I feel like most of my clients and some of my mentors make fun of me because of the fact that this is, I drink juice by the quart, but it's delicious. Can't help it. So by now you probably received the button. As you've been refreshing the screen, you got the button that allows you to apply for that session. And this is actually, it's not only uncovering that one thing, that's just part of it. We're going to be going into what needs to change in your business as well. is a business makeover session. So if you're really serious about this, I would say go for it, because I don't make a lot of time in my schedule for this. In fact, I've been doing less and less of them because I'm working on a lot of projects right now. So definitely consider taking advantage of this. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I know what happens with my clients. I actually had one of the new clients that I got that is I mean, we haven't, formally, got on or whatever, but she just had a makeover with me. And just today, she got her first client for more than, after having our session, for more than she'd ever charged before. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I see client after client, all of my clients get really awesome results after the makeovers when they start working with me. So how do you help with new startups? Julie, I need more from that, girl. What do you mean by that? What do you consider a startup, and what kind of startup? I can go probably in like a million directions with that question. In the juice, spinach, romaine, celery, and cucumber. That's it, because I like it clean, and this is the easiest thing for me to make without going insane, since I make a lot of juice all the time. It's a recipe that I have had for a long time. Before, I used to put a bit of apple, ginger, and lemon in it, but I started getting tired of the lemon and the ginger taste. So now I just make it with those 4 ingredients. And it is delicious. Very mild, very easy to drink. And it tastes better than water to me, and more refreshing than water. So I just drink it like that. It's like delicious. So let's see if Julie answered. Okay, Julie, I'm going to give you a few more minutes, but I'll answer your question after I share the bit about the things. So stay on so that you can get the answer. So post it on it. And then if we have time and you guys want to ask anything else, then I may just be able to share a little bit more after. So, but from this point on is when I will be cutting the replay. So thank you for the rest of you guys that have been here. Again, if you want to take advantage of that makeover, go ahead, go for it. Again, remember that saying yes and yes and yes and yes opens the doors. When you start saying no, that's when the doors close, and that's when the journey becomes slow and